Chairman Stile, Ranking Member Morelli, members of the committee, thank you for the invitation to testify. Here's a question Congress might ponder. What does Section 8 of the National Voter Registration Act mean when it requires that states must, quote, conduct a general program that makes a reasonable effort to remove the names of ineligible voters from the official lists of eligible voters, unquote. According to federal courts, unfortunately, now it means next to nothing. That isn't what Congress intended in 1993. Courts have unfortunately interpreted the language passed by this Congress to find the mere existence of a list maintenance program is what matters, not the program's effectiveness. Panels of the Sixth Circuit and the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals reached these conclusions. In Florida, Broward County allowed non-citizens to vote and deferred the removal of ineligible registrants for years out of sheer incompetence. The list maintenance requirements in the NVRA are gutted, particularly now in the 6th and 11th. It is ironic, since the NVRA owes its very existence to these same list maintenance obligations. Senator Bob Dole's compromise list maintenance amendment in 1993 broke a filibuster that would have otherwise doomed the bill, just as previous versions of NVRA died by filibuster before 1993. The Republicans made a deal to let the NVRA through in exchange for meaningful list maintenance standards. But the 11th Circuit generally held that if an election official makes an effort to clean voter rolls, no matter how shoddy, it's acceptable, and that best practices are not required under the NVRA. The proof is decidedly not in the NVRA pudding. The Sixth Circuit has followed the 11th Circuit. There, Michigan's Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson had over 25,000 dead registrants on the active rolls. A significant number of them had been registered decades after death, decades. In litigation, however, the Sixth Circuit interpreted the language that Congress passed requiring a reasonable effort to mean this, quote, a program that makes a rational and sensible attempt to remove dead registrants. A state need not, however, go to extravagant or excessive lengths in creating and maintaining such a program, unquote. Notice the court never says successful or effective. Results don't matter. The proof is not in the pudding. I do not believe this is what Congress intended. I do not believe Republicans would have dropped their filibuster with this limp maintenance standard. A mere rational attempt? Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson gets an A for effort from the court, but she deserved an F for outcome. Tens of thousands of dead registrants on active rolls? Never mind if someone's registered multiple times. Never mind if a registration record is missing the date of birth. None of this matters under these court rulings, only whether a state makes a rational effort. Results don't matter. This standard is not what the Republicans dropped a filibuster for in 1993. Congress can fix this. Many of the problems with American voter rolls occur at the point of registration, often by third-party groups. The voter may never know their record is botched because they can still vote. But then something changes. They move, they change their name, they get married, and the process creates a duplicate registration because the original mistake impairs a record match. It can even be triplicate. I've seen duplications reach 6 active registrations for a single voter in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, Rashawn Slade. You can see all of his simultaneous registrations in the appendix to my written testimony. Some news. In Maine, we just found roughly 18,000 apparently deceased registrants, nearly 1,500 examples of intrastate duplicates, another 900 examples of interstate duplicates. The Public Interest Legal Foundation issued a detailed finding on this report on this data this month. Ironically, Maine passed a statute to fine the Public Interest Legal Foundation if we spoke about what we found on the voter rolls, including to you in Congress. The First Circuit struck down these speech penalties in a case that we brought under the NVRA. Ranking Member Morelli, even in New York, you find people that I describe in my written testimony registered multiple times, including one record we have right here. That means you're mailing extra campaign literature. You're wasting money on your campaign because of the state of the voter rolls. Finally, one way to improve list maintenance is for states to use commercial credit data to clean voter rolls, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you.